Yo, what up, YouTube? R to the double E dash Z-O-N coming at you once again. And this is part 2 of why the Nintendo Wii is my second favorite console of all time, and really one of the best consoles ever to come grace the hands of gamers. That is, gamers who weren't concerned what people thought about what they were playing, gamers that didn't care about a stupid name, gamers that just wanted the game, you know what I'm saying? Those kind of guys. Anyways, second, this is a launch title I picked up on launch day with the Wii after I camped out 2 days for it. Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. Now, I remember reading an article on IGN, that's saying that Wii owners should feel like they've been slapped in the face because while PS3 got the drop dead gorgeous and amazing Tony Hawk's Project 8, you got this downhill racer. Let me tell you something, I owned Project 8 for the PS3. It sucked. Graphics were gorgeous, that is it. Controls were horrible. The game was shallow. I mean, it was more of the same shit again. Whereas this one, the graphics were nice enough, the level design was amazing, the shortcuts, the tracks, the locations, the characters, the personality, Tony Hawk himself actually in the game talking and having interviews and stuff. I mean, this game was fun. Again, played with the controller turned sideways, like a traditional NES controller, and you used the motion capabilities to turn, steer, jump, flip, all that. It was awesome, dude. Me and my wife went crazy with that game. You know what I'm saying? Next, Excitebox Trick Racing, the sequel to Excite Truck. This game was awesome. You were racing with like Transformer-like mechs that were animals, and they turned into a bunch of different forms, and it was high-speed F-Zero-like racing. Again, played with the Wii remote turned sideways, same motion sensing capabilities, great controls, amazing track design, beautiful graphics, a good online mode. I mean, dude, there was just no shortage of amazing titles on the Wii. Next, GoldenEye. The re-envisioning of the N64 classic that redefined the first-person shooter genre, that made the first-person shooter genre possible on consoles. And this one does it more than justice. An amazing sequel, great graphics, one of the prettier Wii games you will ever find, an amazing Call of Duty-like online mode, incredible controls, man, with the Wiimote and nunchuck, pointing and shooting and you know what I'm saying, just using motions instead of actually tapping buttons. They were intuitive, they made you feel like you were there. It was immersive. Great storyline. I mean, just done to perfection. That's right there with the Conduit. That's probably the 2 best first-person shooters on the Wii. Conduit and GoldenEye. Next, launch day title. I think this would possibly be my second or third favorite Zelda of all time. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This game was just epic in scale, and the storyline was dark. I loved it. It was more mature, more gritty. The graphical style was beautiful. More based a little bit in reality than all the other Zeldas. Hyrule had never looked better or more expansive. It was huge, traversing it on Epona and even on foot and all that. And as a wolf, when you turn into the wolf, motion controls were there. Some people say they felt tacked on. Well, newsflash, this was a launch title, and it was really made for the GameCube. And they weren't tacked on. They were very intuitive, using your Wiimote pointer to shoot the hook shot or the bow or aim the slingshot and all that. Using your Wii remote to swing the swords. Now, this was one of the first, this was a launch day game, so you didn't have the one-to-one motion you have in another game that I'm going to get to soon. But you had, just swing, bop, 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 and it felt great. You know, when you knocked an opponent on the floor and you pulled the nunchuck and sword and you went like that and down, and Link jumps up in the air and does his final strike, that was fucking ultra satisfying, man. A great storyline, man. I spent, I think, a good 70 to 80 hours on that game the last time I checked. Played through the whole thing a couple times. Just amazing, man. An amazing amount of side quests and things to take care of. Just an incredible Zelda, incredible launch game. And that was the thing with the Wii. It came out with a solid ass launch. It had Legend of Zelda, boom, on day one. You can't beat that, man. Amazing. Next, Wii Sports Resort, the sequel to Wii Sports. This, like, the Wii came packed in with Wii Sports so that Wii Sports could introduce everybody to the idea of motion controls and how they work and how great they were. Well, Wii Sports Resort was bundled with the Motion Plus accessory to give you an even deeper level of motion control and more accurate and precise readings on your motions. The twists of your wrist, everything, the position of your Wiimote in space, all that was done beautifully with the Wiimote, with the Wii Motion Plus. 12 different activities, and the game really felt, like Reggie said, it's true, like a day at the beach, because it was based in Woohoo Island, a brand new locale made for the Nintendo universe, a tropical island paradise that was like a vacation resort. And when you went there and when you played this game, you really felt like you were on vacation. You had 3-point contests, cycling, airplane flying, skydiving, archery, canoeing, I mean, there was so much, man. There was so much in this game. It was just great. The graphics weren't the best because it was more of a cartoony look, but the island itself and the environment was very polished and really made you feel like you were on a tropical island, enjoying your vacation. The sword play, oh man, Wii Sports Resort, that was incredible. Next, oh man, I remember the midnight launch for this. Smash Brothers Brawl. I mean, just, it's Smash Brothers with a diverse cast of characters, a shitload of assist trophies, cameos from characters all over the Nintendo landscape, and Sonic and Solid Snake from Metal Gear made cameos in this game as playable characters. Online mode wasn't all that great, though, I'll admit. Next, the original Mario Galaxy. I mean, like I said for part 2, 3D action adventure platformer within the Mario universe with wonderful graphics, wonderful world design, and gameplay. The only real motion sensing in this game is when you're using the pointer to lock onto those travel stars that basically help you float across space, or when you swing the remote to do the spin attack. But you didn't need real motion controls for this game. It was just an epic title. Next, Bully Scholarship Edition, the definitive version across all 3 platforms, PS2, Xbox 360, and Wii. The Wii version is the definitive version of this game, because the motion controls, man, when you're fighting the bullies and stuff, and you can actually jab and hook and punch and all that with the Wiimote and nunchuck, when you're doing your class activities like dissecting a frog and you literally use the Wii remote to scalp the frog open and peel it open and all, things like that are just irreplaceable and give you a sense of immersion that is just not possible on the PS3 or 360. Next, oh man, 2010, Donkey Kong Country returns. Donkey Kong Country back, man. Basically, take the Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 on Super Nintendo, beef it up with beautiful visuals and graphics, larger levels, better level design. It was just great, man. Here we go. Possibly one of the, if not the greatest game of all time, and the definitive motion control experience on any console, even to this day, that showed you what Nintendo was getting at with motion controls. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. This game is not to be fucked with. Perfect one-to-one motion controls. What you do in real life is mirrored virtually at the exact same time on screen. And I've said it before. People say, oh, well, you say virtually. That means it's not perfect. No, it is perfect. I say virtually because you really cannot have a perfect 100% one-to-one experience in motion controls, because that means that the system and the game would have to be anticipating your moves. And there's no system that can do that. But this was so flawless and so on point that it looked as if it was right there with you. No lag, no latency. The sword play is phenomenal. Everything. The way you control the beetle, the bow and arrow. I mean, and the graphical style was beautiful. This is one of the more beautiful Zelda games you will ever play. Just amazing, man. The motion controls made a world of difference, man. I can't stress that enough. Sega's Mad World. Black and white comic book style art. No color except red for the tons and tons of blood you will spill in this game. It's basically a third-person action adventure beat 'em up. Very bloody, very gory. Terrorists have taken over the city, locked it down, and are basically hosting a game show where people fight to the death. And you're the hero, basically. Some amazing kills in this game. And it's all motion-based. Like, you're running and all that, and you're fighting. But when it comes to doing the kills, like, you want to rip somebody in half, you literally have to hold up the Wiimote and nunchuck and rip your hands apart like that, and you tear them in half and stuff like that. It was just amazing. And last but not least, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. First-person shooter / exploration title. Amazing graphical style. The best-looking Metroid game you've ever played is right here. Amazing controls. The motion controls take center stage, and everything from aiming your arm cannon to when you open switches on the doors, you literally have to reach out, grab the lever, turn it, pull it out, push it in. Things of that nature. It's just amazing. When you do she has a laser lasso on her left arm that she can use to whip at an opponent that has armor. It latches onto the armor, and then you rip the armor away. You literally have to, with your nunchuck, whip, grab it, and rip away. It's so immersive. It makes you feel like you're really Samus Aran, as opposed to pushing a joystick and tapping buttons. You know what I'm saying? So that's all the games I wanted to show you, man. I still got some time, so I'll just continue to just talk about why this system was so amazing, man. It was just... We had come to a point in video games and video game technology where, yes, there was a significant graphical leap, so I can get why Sony and Microsoft went in that direction. But I respect and applaud Nintendo that they didn't apply their money and their research and development to just making a more beautiful system. Because they did that with the GameCube. And truth be told, the GameCube was one of the best consoles ever. And it was far more powerful than the PlayStation 2. And it could match the original Xbox in power. Yet both the Xbox and the GameCube got second and third place in that generation by a landslide to a weaker PlayStation 2. Why? Because of the games. Now, I don't agree. I think the PlayStation 2 games were whatever. They didn't really interest me, but the rest of the world loved the games. And there was a million games to pick from. So Nintendo said, you know what, man? We need to say, fuck the graphics. The graphics are already good enough. Let's beef them up a little bit. And let's not go crazy like PS3 and Sony and Microsoft, but let's beef them up enough. And let's go for a new sense of immersion and of gameplay control that's going to make games fun, accessible to people that they normally weren't accessible to before, to expand the audience, make them innovative and fun for the hardcore gamer that wants a new way to play, man. And they did just that. The Wiimote was revolutionary. The nunchuck attachment, wonderful. I mean, the way that these games played, man. First-person shooters, though they were supremely graphically superior on the 360 and PS3 and had a bigger online following community of people to play with on those two systems, the gameplay experience for the player playing the game was head and shoulders above PS3 and 360 when you played it on Wii. Call of Duty games, graphically more beautiful and a more robust online community on those systems. But on the Wii version, you didn't have the graphics, you didn't have the online like you did in the other systems. You had somewhat of an online, but you had a sense of control and immersion that really brought you into the game, and that is priceless. That is more important to me than a graphical upgrade or an online community, because I've been playing games by myself for 20 years. I don't give a shit if I'm allowed to play online with this guy or that guy. I'd rather play the game and have a blast, you know what I'm saying? So that's my time, and I'm going to let y'all go. God bless y'all. Stay gaming. Peace out.